Beef eating and cow slaughter has a special place in the Islamic community in India. You do it just to show the kafirs their place. When you respect something, we will insult it. When it comes, whether it is Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, Barelvi, irrespective of these internal divisions within Islam, all of them are in 100% agreement when it comes to a kafir. Pakistan is the only Islamic republic to be created in the 20th century without bloodshed, in essence, without waging a traditional war.
Whenever they used to go back after plundering, they always used to make a mosque there in the city. They always used to keep some of the whatever is the clergy or etc. Some of their soldiers as a population. The Bharatvarsha kings. Why didn't they throw out these people when they were recovering all the territory?
It is not in the Hindu nature to do this. Al-Hajjaj was Muhammad bin Qasim's uncle and father-in-law.
Yeah.
So Chacha Bhatija relation.
And he had 3 people going and one of them to...
No. Hajjaj was the extremely powerful governor in Baghdad.
Okay.
And he was reporting directly to the Khalifa or the Caliph. And for long, after Prophet Muhammad died, in just 40 years, Islam as a new religion began to conquer and devastate a huge region of this earth. On one side, it went all the way up to Spain in Europe.
Yes.
On the other side, it went to extreme northern Africa, which is Egypt. So you look at the map of the Middle East. You see where Spain is, you see where Egypt is.
Too far.
So in just 40 years after Muhammad died, it was a new religion. It was a world-conquering religion. The message that Muhammad gave is that the whole world belongs to Muslims, meaning the whole world belongs to Allah.
Yeah.
And it is a duty of every true Muslim to conquer this earth or to reconquer this earth for the sake of Allah. So that is why, by its nature, by its intrinsic nature, Islam is a militant and a conquering religion, an expansionist religion. It is an imperialism with claims to religion.
Okay.
It's basically an imperialism, world conquest.
World conquest.
Christianity is also the same, except that Christianity lost its political power during the Renaissance and Reformation. In fact, Christianity has done more damage to the world than Islam. We don't know this today, it is forgotten. The image that Christianity shows to you is, religion of love. Jesus heals, Jesus saves. No, he doesn't.
I think even today Christianity is still the biggest danger because all the...
It infiltrates in a very different way, in a very, very subtle way. So the brainwashing is very subtle. But the moment it acquires political power, you will get one Nagaland.
Yes. And Mizoram.
You will get a Rwandan genocide. So it divides societies which were previously harmonious.
Can you also say Goa to an extent?
Goa also, Inquisition, yeah. So so we don't see this face of Christianity anymore. But Islam and the way it has conquered various parts of the world and wiped out entire civilization, that is in your face.
Yeah.
Because of the sheer amount of bloodshed, violence, extremely brutal wars, it is in your face. That record can't be erased. So this is why.
And this is also more like Sunni Islam, right? Not Shia Islam.
No, don't go by these divisions which they have.
Okay.
When it comes, whether it is Sunni, Shia, Ahmadiyya, Barelvi, whatever
Sufi,
it is, the Sufi, whatever it is, okay, irrespective of these internal divisions within Islam, okay, all of them are in 100% agreement when it comes to a kafir. They won't look at Hindus as, based on their varna as Brahmin or Vaishya or Shudra or Dalit. All of
Or
them,
even in now today's language, leftist.
whatever, all of them are kafirs.
Yeah.
So there they are agreed. So these the questions these questions like the one you just raised, Sunni and Shia and all that, those are meant to mislead you. Those are diversionary tactics.
Like because there's
you,
one
you,
narrative.
you must look at it from the perspective of a Hindu.
Yeah.
As simple as that. Then that it is a monotheistic and a monolithic religion in that sense when it comes to its basic doctrines. All of them believe in Allah. All of them believe in the utmost inviolable sanctity of Prophet Muhammad. All of them believe in namaz. It might be different how they do it. But the 5 pillars of Islam. So every Muslim, irrespective of his sect, follows this.
Okay.
So you have to understand, as a Hindu, you have to understand it from that perspective.
And because that only that is all that we should be concerned about,
Yes.
and not something else.
Ah.
Like because there would be some people who say no, they don't believe, they never used to believe in Kaaba and they had different Hajj.
It doesn't matter what they believe in.
Yeah.
It matters what they believe about you,
Yes.
how they regard you, how they look at you.
So that, now let's bring it to our story again.
So Al-Hajjaj
Yeah.
was the governor of Baghdad, like I said, reporting to the Caliph. And before him, in the late 7th century, different expeditions to conquer India had come, had started from the Middle East, from the Saudi Arabian region, Arabian Peninsula, to put it more broadly. So, वहाँ पे it all began, like I said, 40 years after Prophet Muhammad's death. वहाँ पे गए Europe and then Africa. Obviously, they'll turn this side also to Al-Hind. So they used to call this country as Al-Hind.
Al-Hind.
Al-Hind. And 3 different expeditions were outfitted during that late 7th century. And the first ever recorded Arab Muslim invasion to India was in a place called, a port city called Thana, which is the Thana district near Mumbai.
Yeah.
So that is where it first landed, but they were all driven back very easily.
Okay.
So then they stopped for a while. By Al-Hajjaj's time, he applied for permission with the Caliph saying, look, I will send a plundering expedition, conquering expedition to Al-Hind.
Yes.
So you must give your approval. So the ruling Caliph, I forget his name now, he said no. कि कभी नहीं, कतई नहीं, because all the previous expeditions that we had sent out to conquer India had ended as miserable failures. Not only that, we not only lost money for that expedition, but we also, each time an expedition goes out to India, in our experience, each time an expedition goes out to India, a lot of thousands of Musalman lives have been lost.
Yes.
These were his words.
Yes.
So he said no. And then Al-Hajjaj, he's begged and pleaded. He said, okay, fine. You just give the permission. I will bear the cost. I will send my own army. I'll bear the cost. So you just give your permission. So Hajjaj finally said, Caliph finally said, ठीक है, चलो, go, permission granted. That is when Hajjaj sends one expedition. And unlike the previous expeditions which went by sea to Thana and other places on the coast, these guys took the land route.
Yeah.
And there at a place called Kikan or Kikanan, which is after you cross, it is a mountain pass. After you cross Afghanistan and you enter a mountainous region in Pakistan, I forget the name, today it's in Pakistan, it's a Kikan Pass करके एक जगह था, वहाँ पे pastoral Jats, a group of pastoral Jats, about 500-600 of them. तो जो pastoral मतलब जो cattle rearers, shepherds, these guys, they are not, they were not trained soldiers. they gave such a bloody defeat to a well-trained army that Hajjaj sent that they had to go back.
Okay.
So this kept happening on and off. Then finally Hajjaj was determined that at any cost I will invade this infidel land. So he calls his nephew, who was also his son-in-law.
Okay.
It's common in that community.
It's common, yeah.
So that nephew's name is Muhammad bin Qasim.
Actually, his bigger name is something else, right?
No, Muhammad bin Qasim. So this guy, he was a boy of about 17 years old or 19 years old.
Okay,
that's
just
all.
very
Teenager. So he gave him a proper, instructions that look, we have all our previous expeditions have ended in failure. So let's plan this properly. So he invested about 2 years in planning this expedition. And this time he takes the sea route. And he comes from Baghdad via the Makran coast, which is in Pakistan now. And he lands at a place called Jaipal, which is again in Pakistan.
Okay.
And the Jaipal is under the control of a Hindu ruler named Raja Dahir. And the same Raja Dahir and his son, Jai Simha. So both of them, on earlier occasions, they had beaten these Islamic invasions on 3 or 4 times. And now they got news that these guys are coming again. So they get complacent. We've beaten them in the past. It's no big deal now. But they have underestimated the level of planning done by Muhammad bin Qasim.
Okay.
So he comes with a sea fleet of 3,000 or 6,000 soldiers. Good planning, but it's not a big force compared to Raja Dahir's, his strength.
Yeah, because when I was reading a book, you mentioned that Raja Dahir, until this serious attack, planned attack, he never even, had to even give any instruction what to do with them.
Yeah.
It was taken care of very easily.
Yeah, by the frontier guys.
Yeah.
So that happened, he underestimated him. Not only that, he allowed Muhammad bin Qasim to come about 25 or 30 miles from his fort and set up a camp there. So this is a big mistake. That's how, complacency, not for the lack of valor or strength, but complacency. So that cost him his life. That is the first recorded raid of India.
Okay.
So that is popularly known as the first Arab invasion of Sindh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my whole point when I brought up Muhammad Ghazni was that before that there was this Muhammad bin Qasim, which was the actual, inflecting point or something where it all started in a successful manner, because there were many unsuccessful attempts, as you said. And Muhammad bin Qasim kind of gave them this hope that this can be done. And then what happens? Because
yes, he gave them the hope, definitely, but it was a short-lived success.
Okay. Why do you say it a short-lived success?
Between Muhammad bin Qasim and Mahmud of Ghazni, there is a lull. There is a period of about 300 years where no alien Islamic invasion occurred into India.
And why is that?
Qasim came in 712 and left in 715. So just 3 years or less than 3 years. But he caused considerable damage and he went back. Between him and Mahmud of Ghazni, like I said, there is a gap of about 300 years. So 715 and Mahmud Ghazni's first invasion happened in 1000 CE, the year 1000. So you calculate about 300 years.
About
Yeah. Why this happened is because of 2 reasons: the politics in the Middle East and Central Asia.
Okay.
Second, the manner in which Hindus bounced back here after Qasim left. You had Pratiharas, then you had Yashovarman in Kashmir, and a lot of these other great Hindu kings who kept up the defense. And the Arabs and the Islamic forces did not did not dare to come here for throughout that period. And two, after Qasim left, only Mansura, which is again in Pakistan now, only Mansura, it was an island basically.
Okay.
Across the river Sindhu, all in Pakistan now, Indus. So only Muslim presence was there only in Mansura.
And not
to an extent in Moolasthana.
Okay.
They are close by.
Okay.
So to an extent, and they had to hold this by a hair's breadth. It was very difficult for them. So one Islamic chronicler says that a place in which a Mussalman could take refuge was nowhere to be found in Hindustan. So this is a contemporary record which those historians of that time, Muslims, they have recorded it. So this was the situation. So all the devastation that Qasim had caused was recovered. Territories lost were recovered. Hindus who had been forcibly converted returned to their Matra Dharma. Temples which had been destroyed were rebuilt. So this is an experience that this news traveled there. Let's be prepared properly before we invade Al-Hind again.
Okay.
So this is the reason. So and there's a continuous pushback.
But that's 3 centuries. There's lots of generations behind them.
Yes, minimum 7 generations. If you keep 18 years as one generation or 20 years as one generation.
Because you also mentioned that there, because of political changes, because the Caliph who was backing Al-Hajjaj changed, and within some time, even bin Qasim and Al-Hajjaj, everyone were killed, jailed.
Yeah, once Qasim returned, Al-Hajjaj had lost his power, or he was killed or something like that.
Yeah.
And because this guy, Qasim, was close to him, the new power, the new governor of Baghdad imprisoned Muhammad bin Qasim and skinned him alive.
Even after having such success?
That doesn't matter. So this is look, even within if you look at the succession, I'll get to this point later. How political succession in the Islamic world used to happen.
Yeah.
I'll get to that point later.
Okay.
So this is a story of
so then what started
thing.
Muhammad Ghazni's that successful raid or whatever it is, because it was not very successful at the beginning also. What happened after 3 centuries? Like what made him go again?
Okay. Not going again. So Mahmud Ghazni
or any Islamic invader to go again, that would be the right one.
No, that is what I said. Now, by its very nature, it commands all true believers to claim the whole earth for Islam. And the way to do it is to wage wars, unprovoked wars. Utna hi hai, that's as simple as that.
Okay.
What provoked him, aisa kuch nahi hai.
Okay.
You want to conquer alien lands, Islamize it.
Simple.
As simple as that.
Okay.
What provoked partition of India? How do you think Pakistan got created? Pakistan is the only Islamic republic to be created in the 20th century. Without bloodshed, in a sense. Without waging a traditional war.
Yeah.
It was achieved by treaties and a signature.
Aided by
the only Islamic country in the history of the world to be created like this. Think about it.
Yes, just astonishing, and gives a lot of perspective to think about. My question was that 3 years of lull,
3 centuries.
3 centuries of 300 years of lull. No one is even thinking, because probably political structure is different. There's no one as brave to even try again. What is this about Ghazni that this he did it? Why he wanted to? After that, this was always there, right? 3 centuries. Everyone wanted to conquer, but they couldn't. But what was different in Ghazni that he just I will do it?
Ambition, plunder, loot, and the dictates of his faith. The commands of his faith. He was a pakka bigot.
What do you mean bigot in this context?
Bigot is a zealous man. Any person, bigot is a fanatic basically.
Yes.
Meaning anything that he or she believes in, is the absolute truth, and only it has the right to exist. Everything else doesn't have a right to exist unless that also accepts, this bigoted feeling. Such a person is known as a bigot or a zealot or a fanatic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when he comes to India, what happens then? What is the first? Because there are 3 or 4 waves of his attack, which he was not able to be successful in it, and then he eventually, conquers.
No, it didn't quite happen like that. Mahmud died, I think, in 1030 or 1031.
Yes.
So in those 30 years, if you take the year 1000 CE as a starting point, in these 30 years, Mahmud of Ghazni conducted a total of 23 raids in various parts of Bharatavarsha.
Okay.
And out of that, on an average, he invaded India 17 times.
Okay.
Non-consecutively. Not like, between year 1 and year 17, every year he raided, nahi hai, but non-consecutively, total number of expeditions he's led is 23. Out of 23 expeditions spread over 17 years.
Okay.
So initially he met with extraordinary resistance by a great man, and the last Hindu frontier hero known as Maharaja Jaipal Deva, who belonged to the Hindu Shahi dynasty. Now, these Hindu Shahi, unfortunately, there are almost no first-hand evidences to reconstruct the history of the Hindu Shahi dynasty.
Okay.
The word Shahi is a Persian word.
Yes.
It's not a Hindu word.
Yes.
It's not a Sanskrit word. So Hindu Shahi. So these dynasties can be traced, their origins can be traced back to about, let's say 300 or 400 years before Jaipala Deva. They were all feudatories of pan-Indian empires or very large empires like Chalukyas, Harshavardhana, who had the whole of northern India under his control. Then later you had Pratiharas, you had post-Gupta kings. So these were all feudatories of those samrats. So there is Chakravarti, there is Samrat, then there are these feudatories known as Samantas. And as long as these Chakravartis held the imperial power, the central absolute control, the imperial monarch, the Hindu Chakravarti or Samrat, he protected these frontier states. In turn, they guarded the frontiers of Bharatavarsha. Now, with the collapse of Harshavardhana of Kanyakubja, which is Kanauj today,
yes.
After that, all these empires, different Hindu empires, the former vassals or feudatories, they carved out their own independent kingdoms.
Not belonging to anyone.
So you become isolated. So you have only so many resources and armies at your disposal. Unlike in the past, where the central power would send its whole force to defend you. So wo khatam ho gaya tha. So Hindu Shahis, their ancestry can be traced back to this arrangement. And before Mahmud, his father was a guy named Sabuktigin.
Yes.
Central Asian Turkic king.
And he was also a slave, right?
During Sabuktigin's rule, Jayapala, he spotted that this is a different kind of an enemy. It's not that, between two Hindu kings fighting wars with each other. There was a proper, what you call Hindu code of war ethics, which two Hindu kings, enemies fighting, they would follow. But Jaipala saw that this was different. So he took a proactive, initiative to go and give battle, to eject, to expel Sabuktigin out of Ghazni, which is a city actually. I mean, those battles kept happening. After Sabuktigin, his son Mahmud, he also, as a teenager, Mahmud participated, he helped Sabuktigin in many wars against Jayapala. So he had understood the weakness of, the nuances, the full import of the Hindu code of war ethics. And then when he began to conquer, launch his own campaigns against Hindustan, Al-Hind, he saw that Jaipala Deva is my toughest enemy. So they kept fighting. They had 3 or 4 battles without any proper outcome. And then there was a final battle in which Mahmud, he defeated Jaipala Deva using all kinds of underhanded tactics. Now, in the Hindu code of war ethics, some things are forbidden. One, you cannot use women as bait.
Okay.
It is completely prohibited. You cannot use you cannot fight or kill unarmed citizens. Cow slaughter is prohibited. Temple destruction is prohibited. So, an Islamic war is not a war. All bets are off, all limits are off. Sab kuch jaiz hai. Victory is the only objective at any cost, at using any underhanded or dirty tactics. So, एक proverb है, you must be familiar with it. Everything is fair in love and war. No.
So it has come from there.
You think of the psychology of the people, of the of the culture that gives you such a proverb. Everything is not fair in love and war.
Yeah, actually, I used to think about this when I was young. I was like, we are taught about Mahabharata, and there we say that even if the dhanush is down or the talwar is down, we don't attack them.
You don't attack them.
Or there was that below the Jhangwala scene is so controversial.
Actually, the Jhangwala thing is a metaphor actually.
Okay.
You are not supposed to, hit the genitals.
Okay.
So, Jhang is a polite way of, that means basically that.
Okay. So yeah, because as a child, I used to just take it literally. So I was like, we are taught at one place this, that there are some limits, there are some ethics. And then why do we keep saying this? So as I grew up, I understood this.
So ye hai. And Mahmud, he would put, not just Mahmud, throughout all Islamic invaders throughout the world, they would bring forward their women to use as human shields. Because Mahmud knew that these kafir fellows operate by a certain code of conduct.
So they won't kill them.
They won't kill them. Women, children. And they would, what they would do, it might sound a little crass, but it is recorded, so I have no hesitation to say that. They would mix human feces, shit basically, mix it in bucket loads of water and throw it on the soldiers, on the enemy soldiers.
Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the human ordure, that is the word I've used. It basically means shit. And they would throw it, splash it in the battlefield. So imagine this, you call this war? So that's how, anyway, pretty much then the weather also didn't cooperate. A lot of things, battle, anything can happen in those days. So Jaipal Deva was defeated. And the other thing is the manner in which, after every Islamic conquest, how the enemy is treated. So that itself you can write one separate book. Long story short, Jaipala Deva, a king no less, monarch, he was bound, humiliated, he was put in iron chains and paraded throughout his city like a disgusting ordinary criminal. His family was beaten and his children were kept as hostages. Then anyway, he had to pay a lot of war indemnity money and then he was let go.
Okay.
He was let go. Jaipala Deva goes back to his capital and on one day he announces to his citizens that, look, I have failed you. I no longer deserve to be your king because I failed to protect you. And as a result, I can no longer sit on this throne. So he goes to a public place and a funeral pyre is made for him. He lays down in white dress, he sleeps on that and then commits Jauhar.
Okay.
So this is Jaipal Deva.
So this is the first
Hindu Shahi king. If his son Anandapala, then his son I forget his name, Anandapala, the last king of this Hindu Shahi is a guy called Bhimapala. By that time, it's all gone. So that part of Afghanistan, that Kabul comes from the name of a river known as Kuba, which is mentioned in the Rig Veda.
Okay.
Yeah, Kuba से आता है काबुल.
Wow.
तो अब भी है, Kuba river है. So it's called Kabul river. Anyway, so that Afghanistan, large parts of Afghanistan are gone. Then that's how, with this great barrier, the tough northwestern frontier that has fallen. It has gone out of Hindu hands. So that makes the passage for Mahmud Ghazni easy.
Easier, yeah.
Easy. So, and plus within mainland India, all your Punjab, Punjab by the way is known as Panchanada Kshetra. So 5 rivers. Panchanada.
Okay.
Panchanadi. So
it's a
corruption is Punjab.
Panchanada, yeah.
So Punjab, Lahore, Haryana, Rajasthan, all mainland India. Hindu kings there are fighting with each other. They do not realize the real nature of this new enemy. Okay, so plus they're scattered and it makes the job for Mahmud easy. But one other reason is, like I said, the sheer savage nature. It's an all-out warfare of Islamic, conquest. It spares nothing. Mathura is destroyed for the first time during Mahmud. So he has many such firsts to his credit. And the climax is obviously the first destruction of Somnath temple, Jyotirlinga.
Because I wanted to come to that because it's very nicely written in your book that even after Mathura or some other temple towns were destroyed by him, there was this kind of abhiman or this kind of, I don't know, ego you can say, because it went wrong for Hindus, but the people there, the devotees there, they were like, agar dam hai, to Somnath ko karke dikhao. So
yeah, this is totally
because they used to think that Mahadev is their protector.
Mahadev, yeah. So even today,
and this incident actually makes Ghazni the legend what he is, right?
Yeah, the guardian of Somnath, even today, guardian of Somnath is Mahadev. So even when Mahmud was camping right, across the temple, the citizens of Somnath, they're looking at him and they think that Mahadev will protect us. अगर तुम अपना बचाव नहीं करोगे, कौन सा महादेव तुम्हारा बचाव करेगा?
Yes. In fact, they were thinking that he has come here for his end.
Yeah. So this is quite amazing. But anyway, we have paid a big price for it. Let's not go there.
Yeah, because this one thing which another thing you have mentioned in the book is how he decides to just take a turn towards Somnath, and because there were some other stronger kings around the route, he decided to go through the desert.
No. Yeah, true. After plundering Somnath, you're mentioning this incident after he destroys and plunders Somnath.
Before that, right?
Not before.
Oh, okay.
Not before.
Okay, but what happens after he...
After that, he realizes the blunder that he has done. ठीक है, Jyotirling को तोड़ दिया, and you have sacked the whole city, and you have taken away all the precious jewelry and money and rest of the things, but you have to go back all the way to Afghanistan, Ghazni. Then he is told by the people out there, his own spies and other people, that look, you've come here and you've done this. There are extremely powerful Hindu infidel kings out here who will block your path and they will skin you alive. You don't do this to a place like Somnath and hope to go
Survive.
unpunished.
Yeah.
That is when he panics for the first time. Then one Hindu merchant or a businessman, he approaches Mahmud and tells him that, you give me this much money, I will show you a alternative route.
Yeah.
And he misleads him for about a week or 10 days. In the desert, he makes Ghazni and his army, go around in circles. And then, people obviously, they die of hunger and thirst. And that is when Mahmud suspects this guy's intention and he says, Bolo, ye kya chal raha hai? So he says, look, you have smashed the, हमारा सबसे पवित्र महादेव का मूर्ति को तोड़ा है. So you should die like that. You should die in a very horrible way. That's why I've done this.
Yeah.
So ये होता है courage.
And then he kills that.
He kills it, obviously.
Yes, and then
By the time he reaches Ghazni, about 80 or 90% of all the wealth that he has plundered is gone.
oh wow, 90%.
Almost.
Wow. Okay.
That is the climax. After his raid of Somnath, he does not look in the direction of Al-Hind again.
He's devastated mentally also.
Whatever.
And then when he dies, then there's a mausoleum.
Yes. A dargah was built for him.
Dargah.
Yeah.
It kind of became...
It became a great center for pilgrimage for all aspiring Ghazis.
Even Shia, Sunni, nothing matters, right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For all aspiring Ghazis. So the difference between Mahmud of Ghazni and Muhammad bin Qasim is that after Muhammad bin Qasim was the last Arab Muslim to invade India.
Okay.
After that, from Mahmud onwards, all the alien Muslim invaders came from the Turkic bloodline.
Turushka.
Turkic bloodline.
Okay.
So, वो है. So
Okay.
Mahmud, so his dargah became a great spot of pilgrimage, veneration for all aspiring Ghazis who wanted to invade Hindustan.
And then after some time comes another legendary invader, which has been, I think, documented a lot in our movies, serials because of Prithviraj Chauhan. We'll come there, but what was his start? Why did he decide later on? Because I don't think so. A lot of people were very successful after Ghazni either.
No, after Ghazni you have another lull of about 100 years.
100 years.
About 100 years.
Okay.
So this guy dies in 1030.
Yeah.
1030. And Muhammad Ghori's maiden invasion of India occurs sometime in 1178. So it's more than that. More than 100 years.
So it's 150 years.
Nearly.
Who sends him? Does he come on his own? Was he sent by a king?
No. See, these are all plunderers.
Yeah. But someone is a sponsor, right? Like Al-Hajjaj was there.
तो ऐसा नहीं होता ना. It's not the same thing with. Look, you have to take each invasion in its own context.
Okay.
You can't do this generalization. Okay. Some people who are brave enough or who have enough resources and armies, they'll come on their own. Others like Al-Hajjaj, Qasim are sponsored. So it differs from case to case. So you have to have this kind of context, before.
So he comes on his own.
He comes on his own.
And while coming also, he goes to Ghazni.
He goes to Ghazni's dargah and he asks, for strength and blessings, so that even I am following in your footsteps. You are the great Ghazi throughout the Islamic world. So please bless me so that my jihad against Hindustan is also successful.
Because before Ghori, there were some invasions which were very terribly unsuccessful.
No, sir, there was no invasion.
No invasion.
No, there was no invasion on this scale at all. Some border idhar-udhar, which is not, very important at all. Very minor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ghori comes in.
Ghori comes.
His first one is with Mool Raja.
Mool Raja.
So what happens there?
He gets beaten. He gets beaten fair and square. It's an overwhelming defeat. Mula Raja is still a boy.
Oh.
He is 14 or 15 years old. Crown Prince. Later he becomes
And
Mula Raja.
he's been
the
sent
second.
by his mother, right?
By his mother, Naika Devi. So she leads it from the front and they thrash him into pulp.
And Mula Raja, if I'm not wrong, they are Chalukya, right?
Yeah, Gujarat branch of Chalukya.
Gujarat, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how there were such amazing Indian rulers, and then how they used to easily pull them off.
Yeah.
And then what went wrong? His determination grew, right, after that defeat.
Yeah, he went back to Ghazni, lost a lot of money and men, and he went back to Ghazni, lay low for some time. You see, Ghazni, the city, it used to be a fort city. It is located at a very, very strategic point. From very ancient times, it has been a crucial, it lies at crossroads that connects land road that connects Central Asia, India, China, and with the Arab world.
Okay.
So you keep traveling by that road. So Ghazni is in such a strategic location. So the king who would control Ghazni would automatically control large parts of Afghanistan. So they are also involved in Central Asian politics. Turkestan, Iran,
And the caliphs are
Persia,
changing.
all these things, it's a hotbed of intrigue and dirty politics since very ancient times. Alexander came there. So that's pretty much how it is. And Ghori, when he went back after getting defeated, he did not give up his ambition to conquer, invade India again. And that opportunity came most decisive opportunity came sometime in 1191, which is the date of the first battle of Tarain against the great Prithviraj Chauhan.
Which we call as Chauhan.
Chauhan.
Yeah. It's Chahamana.
Chahamana.
Mana. Okay. Okay. So in that, Prithviraj Chauhan defeats him very easily.
Very easily.
And then why does he decide to come back when his resolve does not break?
No, the point is Prithviraj, instead of killing him, he defeats him and lets him go. He pardons him and he just lets him go. So that is a big blunder. And
why does this happen? Why does he do that? Why does Prithviraj allow him?
Stupidity. Like I said, Hindu kings did not recognize the nature of this enemy. I have to keep repeating this point. All the way even till Vijayanagar Empire. They did not invest enough time and intellect to study the core doctrine which teaches these invaders to do these jihads.
Always looked at it from their point of view, not their enemy's point of view.
They thought that it was a battle between kings. Yes, it was to a limited extent, but from the other side they failed to study that. It's not just a military war. It's something beyond that. That is the only reason. I have to. Any number of times you ask this question, I'll have to give you the same answer. Okay. There's no other answer.
But there's one small question that's coming in my mind, because since Muhammad bin Qasim came, let's say even Mulstana, which became Multan, whenever they used to go back after plundering, they always used to make a mosque there in the city. They always used to keep some of the whatever is the clergy or etc. Some of their soldiers as a population. Why didn't we overturn them, the Bharatvarsha kings? Why didn't they throw out these people when they were recovering all the territory? What went?
It is not in the Hindu nature to do this.
But then they know what they are allowing to, come up and
look. See, you ask this question as a person living in the 21st century.
Yes.
Okay. You go back, travel back to that period. It was an era of faith and belief. You have lost access to that society.
Yes.
So that is why you can't think like them. ठीक है, they also thought, Hindu kings, Hindu society of that period, they also thought that a mosque was like any other temple. So Allah was another god. It is very easy for Hindus to accommodate infinite number of gods, be it any religion. ये आपको वेदांतिक फ्रेमवर्क से आता है.
Yes. That when it happened in Mulsthan or even Purshapur, which is Peshawar, my question arose like we knew what is happening, what they're doing. We're seeing it very first hand. They're brutally killing. They're sacking the whole village. They're raping in masses openly. Then also, why are we so tolerant? Especially when the king, the warriors, they were out there in the open in a much more capacity than we are right now.
Meaning?
As citizens, we don't really have a lot of kshatriyata among us, and I know we did talk about it differently, but we see a lot of Muslim dominated areas being very touchy and sensitive.
Today you're talking about today's time.
Yeah, today's.
Yeah.
So we are always avoiding conflicts there, like let's say even road rage or anything. I'm just giving us very silly example, but then at that time they were not even established. My thinking from a 21st century citizen comes like this, that why did we allow them? If we didn't let that seed grow at that time, probably we would have been better off.
No, look, history cannot be retrofitted, one. Second, you can't speculate like this about the past. This falls in the realm of speculation.
Yes.
And that will lead you to all kinds of, wrong analysis, and you draw the wrong kind of lessons. The point is that when these waves of Islamic invasions happened at multiple points, what they did was to convert the Hindu population. So you had these converted Hindus, newly converted Hindus, they were living harmoniously with other Hindus of the same society. Now you isolate them, you cut them off from your former thing, society. तो आज का जो भी है, there is one study which basically says that 95 or 97% of all Indian Muslims are converted Hindus.
Okay. But they still want to belong to that.
वरना इतना population कहाँ आता है आपको?
That's true.
You look at this huge scale of time, 1000 years, take it 800 years.
Okay.
So how does one community keep growing? Forget their fertility, all that today, you forget that. But throughout this period, what caused this explosive growth in their population?
You're talking about 800 years.
Conversion.
If we can just see last 75 years, Bangladesh and Pakistan, we have definitely
refugees, so-called illegal immigrants.
And even our Hindu population has decreased there, and Muslim population has increased.
Yeah. So ये होता है. Like I said, the goal there is to expand and claim the lands, claim the impure lands.
Okay. So let's come back to the Battle of Tarain the second, because here something interesting happens. Was Prithviraj Chauhan complacent, taking it lightly, or was he misled?
No, he was not complacent. He was overconfident.
Okay.
He was overconfident. Nobody will defeat me. Who's this fellow? So
what went wrong for him?
Next year, when he came, Ghori, when he came next year, 1192, even that time, he had to fight an uphill battle just to conquer the fort of Sirhind, a place called Sirhind. I think it's in Pakistan now. It was controlled by a Hindu commander. He had to fight a tremendous battle to defeat him and conquer it. And that is when he realized again that this kafir king, Prithviraj, Pithora Rai, that is what they call him, Rai Pithora, Prithviraj Chauhan. So he cannot be taken lightly. So when he comes to at a some distance from Tarain, he sends a message to Prithviraj Chauhan saying that, look, I underestimated you. Allow me safe passage, I'll go back.
Okay.
Prithviraj believed him, and instead of being on guard, he and his enemy were partying throughout the night, getting drunk, and then they were sleeping. And in the early morning, this fellow Ghori, he launched a surprised stealthy attack, and that's how the battle was lost.
Okay. Here there's a difference because I'll just come to that serials and movies point where they always show, like in recent movie of Akshay Kumar, they show he's blinded and he's taken back to Ghazni where on the basis of sound he kills Ghori. There's one story. Then there is another one where either 17 or 21 times Ghori is defeated by Prithviraj, and he always lets him go because Ghori always asks for forgiveness. He lets him go, but the one war where Ghori wins, he kills him. These are something. How did this come up from?
No, all these are, the source of all this is a ballad, a narrative poetry called Prithviraj Raso.
Okay.
Written by Chand Bardai. For Chand Bardai, Prithviraj Chauhan was a great hero. So there's a lot of emotional attachment. Obviously, to even in Rajasthan, even across India, Prithviraj Chauhan is still a great hero. There are no two words about it. But abhi wo poet bhi tha. Then he was so deeply attached to Prithviraj Chauhan. So he introduced all kinds of these fabulous, fantastic tales, fact free, which has no historical value.
But how does this come from 2 battles to 17 battles?
वो हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है. Story में कुछ भी हो सकता है.
Fiction. Okay. So because now what my next question is, after Prithviraj comes in, dies, his younger brother Hari Raja. He plays a very different role. He preserves himself, but then he comes back, and then after Ghori, although when Ghori came in, he establishes a kind of the slave sultanate. Like Kutubuddin Aibak is the first one who takes up this thing. They have this kind of cat and mouse play with, and Hari Raja is kind of successful, kind of is not, is almost successful, is not. What was going around?
No, this is a tale of, this is a recurring tale, not just with Hari Raja.
Okay.
Each time these Islamic invaders came and devastated different parts of India and Hindu kingdoms, and they went back, plundering and usual thing, slave taking, plundering, looting, mass conversion, these things. After they went back, Hindus would regroup. They had nothing but absolute hatred for Turushkas. अरे किसको पसंद होगा?
Legitimately.
You do this kind of thing. What, you will worship those
and
guys?
And they don't only plunder, they rape, they break all the temples,
unimaginable atrocities. The point is, everything that why they do it is because everything that the kafirs regard as sacred, we have to insult it, we have to destroy it.
That is the reason they built a mosque over a temple.
This is the reason beef eating and cow slaughter is has a special place in the Islamic community in India. You do it just to show the kafirs their place. You revere something, you respect something, we will insult it or we'll kill it.
Because in the same manner, like how nowadays there's this thing going upon Gyanvapi Masjid, which is the Gyanvapi Vishwanath Mandir or whatever it is. What happens there is, a lot of people say, can't you see the king, the Mughals and the previous Muslim sultanates, why would they don't have any brains, why are they building mosque over mandir? They can't see, this is such a blatant thing. But I think what they used to do was, they actually wanted to insult Hindus that, see, we are conquering your mandirs and we are building a masjid. So it was actually to show down, break your morale, right?
That's what I said, no?
They were not just trying to build right from raising it down completely and then.
Most of these old mosques, if you look at them, they are all built after destroying Hindu temples with the same materials of the Hindu temples, with the debris. Why were they trying to delay the excavation in Ram Mandir? You will find these pillars. वो अंदर जाके आप देखिए वो मस्जिद उनका. Now they've all whitewashed it nicely to cover it. But look at those pillars. The classic example is your Qutub Minar, Quwwatul Islam Mosque, which Qutubuddin Aibak built after destroying 27 Hindu and Jain temples.
Yes.
Aaj bhi hai, it's there.
But he built it from ground zero, right? Then later.
He built it, I just told you, he built
But
it
with the
after,
debris.
With the debris. So, uska wo mosque ka pillar jo hai, you have all Salabanjikas and Madanikas and Hindu sculptures. It is still standing in Delhi, Quwwatul Islam.
Yeah, and it was in the face of Hindus that look at this. This is a constant reminder to you that we have conquered you, right?
Yeah.
It was nothing else that, oh, we are so stupid that we just built a mosque over a temple. Now, like how nowadays the 21st century, the way you said it, like we are looking at it from a 21st century, and you're like, why would they build a mosque over a temple? How stupid are they? But no, it was not that, right?
Yeah.
It's just this thing. And then, yes, we were at Hariraj. What was his relationship like? Almost conquering and getting defeated at the last moment. What was that?
No, you are reclaiming your home, that's all.
Yeah.
Usme relationship kya hai? So Ajaya Meru, which is Ajmer today, that was the target of, that's what Muhammad Ghori conquered. And then of course, after killing Prithviraj Chauhan, after he went, this is his brother's home, no? Hariraja's brother's home. So you have to claim it back. As simple as that. If I forcibly take over a house, what will you do? You will claim it back, no? You go to court or, cops or something, which is exactly what he was doing.
Okay. And in the hindsight or retrospect, does he not want to preserve his whatever left kingdom is? Because they would also come back and take over his like Ajmer and everything else.
I didn't get your question.
In the sense, he always tries to go to Delhi and whatever places.
No, that's what I'm saying now. I mean, whatever questions I've answered this in very simple, that you have to reclaim what you had lost.
Yeah. Okay. This is the story of Muhammad Ghazni and Ghori.
Yeah.
Lot to learn, and actually you should read these books. Lot to talk about. Probably our next meeting would be about Khalji, and I'll have a better and more time to really analyze the book in a way, because when my meeting with you was fixed, I just crash course through your book. So there was a lot of mistakes in my remembering of some facts.
No, it's okay.
So thank you so much for hosting me in your house. Thank you so much for giving me your time, and thank you so much for gracing this podcast, because I was waiting to have you on my podcast since long time, and we'll see you soon.
No. Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.